everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our channel, Paws On Animation.
Today we're covering the full first season of Kaiju No.8.
And we've already covered the original manga and our first impressions of the anime, so now it's time to look at the entire season and show just what we love about it.
But first, before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, click notification updates on future podcasts and Little Paws videos.
Yes, and thank you for joining us, subscribing, and sharing our videos. We appreciate you so much. Now, for those of you not familiar, and I'd be surprised why, Kaiju No.8 is an adventure, sci-fi, and surprisingly superhero manga.
Yes.
Written by Naoya Matsumoto. And the recent volume number 9 was released here in the States.
Yes.
And it hasn't gotten any duller. It's more exciting. And the anime has managed to live up to the reputation of the manga.
Yes. And the anime has 12 episodes. All of it has been dubbed in English. They had a simul dub at first, and the last 2 episodes were delayed, then later fully English dub. So now you have the option of watching English and Japanese. They adapt the first 20 to 30 chapters of the manga, and they end with the event of Kafka getting found out and proving that he's not a threat to anybody, prove that he's human. So that's pretty much what the whole first season encapsulates, from the time you see who he is, him turning into a kaiju, wanting to be on the force and joining his childhood friend, saving his team from other kaijus that were trying to annihilate everybody, and then proving his innocence.
Now, oddly enough, the manga is on volume 13 in Japan, so
right.
Now, unfortunately, as usual, we're way behind here.
You're right.
But as you mentioned, the anime itself is keeping it where people that are outside of Asia are able to be current on what they're seeing versus what they're reading in manga, so thank you very much. And we've gotten introduced to some more interesting characters. Some of them hadn't been introduced. The first review we did, the first impressions, but now you've gotten to know almost not only the main character, Kafka Hamino, Ichikawa Reno, Yuji, his friends, some other of the new members, as well as the Defense Force, with Shinomiya, Lisao Shinomiya, executives, the 1st Division, 2nd Division. So
lots of characters.
By the end of this season, we've been introduced to almost all of them. The only one they haven't introduced yet in the anime is Narumi. Right.
You saw him briefly. If you watched, you see him briefly in the last episode, but I guess they're teasing him coming in the next season.
And if you read the manga, you know he's supposed to be the strongest one, but he's kind of outside of the force, lazy, and plays games all day. He's a slob, but Rascal said he'll probably be popular because in the manga he's hot, and it won't matter that he's lazy.
It's like
a slob.
Clearly, let's get you everywhere in these animes.
So we got a satisfying conclusion because we weren't sure how they were going to manage to end the season.
Yeah.
But they did a good job in ending it, not only in tying up some loose ends from this season, but also in getting you interested in piquing your interest, I should say, in what's to come.
Right.
And making you impatient for seeing season 2.
Right. And really, when we watched it, we had very few complaints about the anime. The 2 things that were, at least for us, and one was for other people. One was Hoshino's depiction, the vice captain. His depiction was a little different in the first half of the season. He was depicted more being a bit laid back, kind of silly. They gave him little fangs for some reason in his teeth that he never had in the manga. In the manga, he was a lot more serious. He only broke into laughter when he made fun of Kafka because he was such a loser to him. So in here, he kind of was making jokes a lot in the first half, and people weren't understanding why was he so laid back in here. And then it looks like they rectified it in the second half, where he started to act more closely to the manga version when he started having his battles.
And that was odd because Landon McDonald voices him. And if you remember him from some of the characters he's done, mainly I, and Claire, that demon, and some other characters, he has the right voice quality and personality to portray Hoshina. So it was kind of odd that they chose him and then gave him the opposite to portray. So
And then the second thing would be, now this was just us, there were points in the anime when they advanced the story a little too quickly, and maybe perhaps because it was only 12 episodes, they tried to put more into each episode. Like, Capcom found out what's happened very early on in the manga, but they may happen even faster in here, and it could be just because it's animated. And the appearances of the kaiju happen a lot quicker too. Like, the manga would take its time with a few things to deal with the characters and them knowing each other and building up to these kaijus attacking. Here it kind of just gets straight to the attacks. They have the characters interact, but they kind of mix in the interactions with the kaijus coming in at the same time and having them bond on battle. So they try to speed it up a little bit so they can get to the next interaction.
But it seemed to kind of flesh out toward the last few episodes where you don't feel like it's being rushed. So, as you mentioned, they seem to have rectified that as well.
Yeah.
And what they have gotten right is the amazing animation.
Yes.
Fantastic fight scenes.
Yes.
And some very unique looking kaiju.
Yes, definitely. Because a lot of people were worried because when they showed the character sheets a year before the show came out, people were really not happy with what was there. It looked like it was low budget, low quality. It looked like there was no detail, no depth or anything. People were really not happy because of how fantastic the manga looked. So when they had their delay, I guess they did like Solo Leveling, went back and updated the animation so it looked like on the quality of MHA and Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yes, definitely. And also now you're used to many of the characters. Now Kafka has become an everyman hero. He's got huge fans out here on social media. People are crushing on him. And it's because they've written him not only likable, but he has no ego at all.
Right.
And although he's in love with Mina, he's not stupid. And
right.
you appreciate that. He just wants to prove that he can stand next to her and they can do what they promise as children.
Right.
And then on top of that, he really cares about saving people. And yes, he reminds you of an adult Deku. He's 34?
I think 32. I think 32 or 34.
32, you're right. 32. And so he's an older MC, especially
right.
for a lot of things that are out there. But you really sincerely like him, and they've made him such a likable character that you want him to succeed. You're cheering for him
right.
the whole time. And then they give him as a sidekick or buddy, they give him Reno Ishikawa, who's voiced by Yuji's voice actor, Adam MacArthur. And of course, before we even heard him, we were in love. Oh, it's going to be Adam MacArthur again! But his character is likable as well, and he supports him, and he wants him to succeed.
And it's hilarious how their interactions are.
And no matter what happens, he's cheering him on. And that's what he really needed, because prior to that, he had failed so many times trying to get into the division. And he finally made it through, and now he's got a friend that every step of the way is wanting him to succeed, and he needed that because he didn't have that before.
Right.
And Mina is so high on the ladder in terms of being an executive. She's a captain. She really could not interact with him or deal with him.
Right.
So I'm sure that she's probably, before we even were informed of, she'd probably been waiting and cheering for him, but she didn't say anything.
And
but this is the person who can outwardly do it and be his buddy. And now he's got a friend, and he's calling him
Sir. You know he's doing
and
stupid
he's
crap.
18 years old.
He's always doing stupid crap, but it's always hilarious. Like, no, sir, you can't do that.
Adam MacArthur is one of the new kings of sounding like teenage boys.
Right. You're like Tom Kenny. So the humor, there's also, like you said, a lot of humor in here. They really put a lot of it in there when he transforms for the first time. And they still get serious anyway, but first time Kafka transforms, the first thing is going to be really scary and terrifying. Not only does the transformation happen instantaneously where you don't even see it happen, it just is there, but it's hilarious that after he transforms, he freaks the heck out his friend Ichikawa freaks the heck out, and they run out, they freak out everybody, and everything that happens. Kafka's nervous, he's freaking over everything that happens, he's doing weird things in his body, he relieves himself through his chest, and he cries about he won't be anyone's bride, and it's hilarious how they capture all that comedy in there, and it didn't come off as weird, and they didn't cut it out thinking it wasn't funny.
True. You are introduced to more characters you met in the manga, Kikuro Shinomi and her dad, and Kaiji Itami, another executive. And then, as we mentioned, Jin Norumi, who's not going to come into season 2, but he's going to end up being a favorite. I'm sure you're right.
Yeah.
And then you've got, as we mentioned, Mina Ashiro, Soshiro Hoshina, Furuhashi, Uzumo. You got a lot of people that were already there, and Kafka comes in, and they weren't sure what to think of him. And as the kaiju, he saved their lives many times, and them not knowing it, he's made friends with them.
Right.
And then when they do learn that he's the Kaiju number 8, he expects everyone to turn on him and not want to deal with him and want him gone. But that's not what happens.
Right.
These characters have sense. And so they're appreciative and grateful for him saving them, and they want him to succeed, and they don't want him to be extricated.
Right.
So it's a really good story on top of having the amazing animation and fight scenes. It's a really good story.
Right. It's got that blend of everything that you really like in anime while still doing some different things. And my last thing to point out is, as you mentioned, of Kafka being older MC, you rarely see that now in a shonen. Majority of the time, they're all teenagers. So that's what makes him stand out even more. There's a different type of MC who's still got the little bit of personality of a teen and wanting to give himself
he's got a lot of personality of a teen.
He's kind of like the next Wild Tiger.
Yes, I was going to say that. Yes.
Where you've got an older character that has the personality and energy of someone way younger, and they're still just as likable, and you're not seeing them like, oh, this character's much older, I'm not going to like him. You just like them regardless of the age.
True. So 2 last things I want to point out.
Okay.
The outstanding cast. We'll just name them. We won't say who is who. We have, well, we got to say Habana. He's voiced by Nazni Tarsha as an adult, and Alexis Tipton younger. We've got Adam MacArthur. Yes. Power. We have Abigail Bliss, Christopher Wakehamp. There's a few more. Oh, Landon McDonald, of course, as I already mentioned. Caitlin Barr, and
a lot of them you can tell.
Stegmar, Jonas Scott. Now, here's the surprise for me. They've got a lot, but the biggest surprise for me is Kaiju number 9 is voiced by Alejandro Saab.
No way. Cool.
And last but not least, there are some spin-offs to this manga that are out. There's a light novel called Kaiju number 8, exclusive on the 3rd Division. Kaiju number 8 B-side, as well as Kaiju number 8 Relax.
Oh, wow.
So we haven't...
So they got some regular stuff, too.
I don't think they've been released or translated into English yet, but hopefully we'll get them soon.
We've been hearing about it.
Yes. But if you've seen Kaiju number 8, the entire season 1, on Crunchyroll exclusively, let us know in the comments. And if you haven't, you've got to see it. You're really missing out if you don't watch this. It's an excellent manga, so we recommend you read it as well while you watch it. And if you're reading it, you'll be ahead when season 2 comes back, knowing what is anime exclusive and what is from the manga.
Right.
And you'll get a whole lot of extras that weren't included in season 1 that I think are important in loving this story.
And having very unique opening and closing with Imagine Dragons.
Oh my gosh, yes, the opening and closing are excellent. The music is just, ooh, can't turn it off either time. And the visuals are really good too, and they're different from the visuals of any other anime intro and outro that's going on.
Right. So, if you haven't already, subscribe for updates and movie videos for your anime series, anime shows, and all things animation.
And don't forget to share this video if you like it on social media. We are really happy with it, and we hope that you love it too. Thank you so much for subscribing and for joining us, especially during this superhero month, which we love doing every year. Thank you, Rascal, for starting it.
You're welcome.
And if you have anything you want covered possibly next year, a superhero manga or comic or anything we've let out, left out, let us know in the comments below.
Right. So, thank you so much for watching. I'm Mask Entertainment.
And I'm on Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace.